there are these principles that the Buddha mentioned in many times to reflect. So the Buddha said, Jara dhammom hi jarang anatitoti, payati dhammom hi payating anatitoti, marana dhammom hi maranang anatitoti. Which means that Jara dhammom hi jarang anatitoti. We are nature to get old. We haven't overcome from not getting old. Yadi dhammom hi vayating anatitoti, which means we are nature to get sick, and we haven't overcome from not being sick. And marana dhammom hi maranang anatitoti. It's a nature to die. We haven't overcome from not dying. So this is a natural truth that we all have to face. Despite we may not like it, we don't want to get old and sick and dead. But this is inevitable, we can't deny. It's just there. And the reason we have to face these because we are born, or we were born, or we have been born. The moment when we are born, these things will come with us. In terms of the getting old, according to the scripture, it suggests that the very moment when we are born, we are getting old. Although conventional truth suggests that a still infant, a still baby, and they grow, and after 30 years we call them mature boy or mature man. And then the old age, we normally see it whenever we have a gray hair or our body began to complain about what we eat, what we drink, or insufficient of a sleep or a rest. Then there comes the complaint about or explaining that, oh, I am old now. In the meantime, there are occasions that we do not want to accept that we are old. Especially if you're talking to, let's say, over 60s. You can't ask their age and you can't tell them that they're old. Can't accept. It's an unbearable truth. But that is the truth. You can't deny. So the old age, nature of getting old, we become old the very moment we have been born. There's no question of that. And in terms of the illness, then again there are various types of illnesses that we have to face from very early age. The basic illness is getting hungry, which normally we do not see or do not take it as an illness. Actually, that is an illness. And this illness, as we grow old or as we develop our physical body, then these illnesses also gradually forms in. And then somehow, one way or another, due to the environment, due to the lack of a rest or a stress, or the cloth that we wear, the food that we eat, or using some other materials that causes sickness. And this is also natural, actually. We cannot deny. But this illness, according to the Buddhist scripture, not only because of the environmental change, not because of the wind, not because of the earth, not because of the wind, and not because of the heat. Not only these are the main causes that causes the different illnesses and sicknesses we experience, whether it's in our eyes and our nose, tongue, or body, the skin, the liver, the kidney, or heart, whichever part. There's one specific illness that may come due to our own result of the karma, or the karma that we have performed previously. It could be in this life while we were young, or it could be while in the previous lives. So it just continued. And that could be another reason why we get sick and cause really a big issue in our life. And this is a bit difficult to explain, because sometimes it can be because of other things, but this is something that's very complex and very difficult to explain, that whenever we have these diseases or sicknesses, then because of the karma, we cannot definitely say that. But somehow, if something happened without our knowledge, or just happened, so accident take place, or suddenly without any cause, and the illness is just developed, and then in those cases, most probably we could say that it could be because of the past karmas. And these again can be our heedlessness, or can be under the substance too. Could happen, but it has probably some elements of the previous karma too. But we cannot be sure of that. So that's why it's very important that we maintain the wholesome thinking, wholesome thought, as much as possible. Now, in the case of the legs problem, when she fell down from the stairs, we do not know. It could be her carelessness. It could be the time has arrived. It could be because of the karma. We cannot make sure that this happened because of this or because of that. But the fact is, she is ill. And at the same time, when we become ill or getting old, we cannot prevent, we cannot stop. A sickness, there is a possibility that we can delay, or we can cure it for some ways. But that cure is not that you're not going to get again other things and then will not be dying. So the Buddha explained that there are certain illnesses, doesn't matter how much you have good care, good medicine, good doctors, it doesn't cure. At the same time, if you have a good care, a good medicine, good doctor, there is a possibility of curing. And this cure again, not only the external factors, but also we have to look at from the karmic factor too. If our karma is good enough, then these will take effect straight away and helps us to cure quickly. If not, then may need some other supports. And there are moments that doesn't matter whether you have good care or good medicine or not. There will be no chance it will be cured. And that not curing basically means that it will take our life. The death is there. And the death is again something that we cannot deny. We are born with it. The only sad thing that we do not know how long do we have, which situation are we going to die, how we're going to die. It's very difficult to explain. But the fact is we are going to die. So, because of the uncertainty and because of the unknown but the certain fact, Buddha encouraged us to reflect on it regularly as much as possible, even to every breath. Even to every breath, so that we will not be living heedlessly, so that our life becomes very comfortable and also living wisely. I remember there was an incident that Margaret, she was going through very difficult illnesses. She could not move and she could not do anything, and she was just about to die. But somehow, because of a good care and good consultant, she gradually gained her strength but could not gain the courage, and she came to meditate. And after meditation, she gained the courage to face with the community again and move on, visiting, and also not only visiting and leading the exercise, mindful exercises, just using the bottle of water. So she was helping, teaching her friends and leading groups, betrothed as well. She once told me that we have to learn to live life before the death comes. So living life wisely. In the meantime, if you have watched the movie called Shawshank or something, about the prison break, there was an inmate, he said, keep living or keep dying. So we have to live our life very wisely so that we will not be wasting our time. And here wisely doesn't mean that we are spending whatever we have without concern of any other things. Living wisely here means that whatever you have to think that how much you're going to take with you for the following existence if you believe in. Now, according to the Buddhist principles, there is a new existence for sure. If you believe in, then you have to think the amount of the assets or money or things that you have, how are you going to take with you for your comfort life? or how much you are having attachment to it. It's up to you entirely before the death comes. And do not think that it will come after a certain time or certain years, and we are just holding on to that. But the Buddha encourages us that to reflect on that so that we will not be too greedy, and using all the things that we have wisely, so we will be living our life very peacefully. There was a monk. He was given a gift of a very fine robe from his relatives. And he was very happy to receive that robe. And he was just taking that robe and admiring, and he slept. But unfortunately, he died on that day while he was admiring and praising or admiring this robe. According to the scripture, this story suggests that because of the attachment he had on this robe, he reborn as a flea in that robe itself. And because of the fine cloth, other monks become a little bit greedy too. So they want to have a share of it. So one monk took it and wore it. But the flea that was guarding this robe was unhappy, began to bite this monk here and there. So with that, this monk couldn't wear, and he passed on to another monk, and another monk also got bitten by this flea. Now this story went to the Buddha, and then Buddha told him to keep those robes for 7 days. And the Buddha told that because of the attachment that this monk had, he reborn as a flea. So after 7 days, it will be free. All his good karma that he had accumulated being ordained as a monk, living in the monastery, it will give him a new rebirth. Then after that, you can use the robe. So that can happen. In the meantime, there is a legendary which is written later. I'm not sure how true that could be. Emperor King Asoka, who was the king who unified the Indian plateau at that time, killing so many people and unifying it. But somehow he, after seeing a novice calmly going for the alms, he was surprised to see that this little monk walking so calmly without any fear. And he invited this little monk to the palace and questioned, and he said, this monk told him that I practice not to kill and harm any beings, not to take what is not given. After hearing that, it really hit his heart so hard that he gave up any wars and become the defender of Buddhism. And later he was assassinated by his own son for the throne. But before his assassination, he was imprisoned. And the reason he was imprisoned, that he was devoted, giving donation to the temples. And eventually he was given only a couple of grains in his hands, and even that grain he gave. And he was, despite of being the king, he didn't have authority to give a donation to anyone. So he attached, according to the legend says, that he became attached to his own assets. And with that he died. And he became a serpent, protecting his own wealth. And later, this story, I'm not sure how much it has a truth, but this is the story passed down. So that's why it's very important that how we deal with it. One of the monks in Thailand, he said that he was a very great master, meditation master, Lompa Sot, who was the meditation master of the Dhammakaya. He said, things that you have given for a good cause, with a good heart, without expecting anything return, that you have gained. But things that you have kept with the attachment and a greed, then that is a loss. With a death, you can't take them. It will be passed down to other generations. If you have a children, they will take it. If you don't have a children, then somebody will take it on. So you've got to be very clever with that. So this is what he thought. So that's why he always taught everyone to give, to give. So he says that giving is a gaining, keeping is losing. But this is just in terms of the material form. But what we have to be careful of that before we die, how much have we purified ourselves, and how much have we understood the teachings, and how much do we have the intention to coming back to the similar environment where we can have access to the Dhamma and practice the Dhamma and purify us. That is more important. So that's why Buddha encouraged us to make resolutions now and then, and once in a while, that may I reborn in a good community where I will have access to the Dhamma, so that I can have a chance to practice and liberate myself. The funny thing is that before we die, our last consciousness will remember what we have done throughout the time, and whatever that hits hard, that will give the result first. That's a complete, like a quantum physics. Whatever the hard material that's hit first, that will give the effect. And that's actually our consciousness is about. So as a result, the instruction is that try to accumulate good merits regularly. You don't have to do it in chunks, but do it regularly, little by little, little by little. Let it be a second nature, just seeping into our consciousness, and it comes to the stage that when the last consciousness arises, at that moment, our consciousness will be pure. Consciousness will be wholesome, and we will reborn in a good realms, if not liberated. So that's why we are born with these old age, sickness and death, but it's a matter of how we are going to deal with it and gain the most benefit out of it, so that we will not be regretted and we will not be reborn or get into the miserable place. Rather, we will be in a right path and then following the right path, gaining the right liberation.